The worst thing that ever happened to you is carrying a gift, and you have probably already thrown part of it away. Not because you are foolish, not because you did not suffer enough, not because the pain was not real. It was real, and I am not going to pretend it wasn't. But because no one ever told you that the hardest season of a life is not the punishment, it is the delivery. And the gift comes wrapped in something you would never choose. Napoleon Hill built his entire philosophy on one sentence: every adversity carries the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Not the flower, the seed, buried in the exact thing that is breaking your heart right now. By the end of this, you will know how to find that seed inside your own hardest season, why most people miss it and stay bitter for years, and the 3 things to do with it before the season ends and the chance is gone. Here is the sentence that changed how millions of people see their suffering. And Hill put it in the middle of Think and Grow Rich almost quietly, the way you would hide the most valuable thing in a house. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Read it slowly, because every word is load-bearing. Every. Not some hardships. Every one. Seed, not fruit, meaning it does not arrive grown, it arrives as a possibility you have to cultivate. Equal or greater, meaning the benefit is not a consolation prize, it is at least as large as the wound and often larger. And carries with it, meaning it is not somewhere else, not later, not in heaven. It is inside the hardship itself, right now, waiting. The gift is not on the other side of the pain. The gift is inside the pain. But here is why almost everyone misses it. A seed looks like nothing. It looks like dirt, like loss, like the end. If you had never seen a seed grow, you would throw it away as garbage, and that is exactly what most people do with their hardest seasons. They experience the loss, they feel the dirt in their hands, and they see only dirt. They never plant it. They spend years asking why this happened to them, which is the one question that guarantees the seed stays buried, because you cannot plant a seed while you are busy cursing the ground. And I want to be careful here, because this is not the cheap version of this idea. This is not everything happens for a reason, said with a shrug to someone who is bleeding. Hill was not a man who had avoided suffering, telling you to smile through yours. He was a man who had lost nearly everything, more than once, telling you what he found on the other side after he stopped waiting for the pain to make sense and started working to make it useful. There is a difference. One is a platitude. The other is a method. This is the method. So the first move, and it is a decision you can make today, is to stop asking why this happened and start asking, what is the seed? Same season, same pain, completely different future, depending on which question you hold. Let me tell you that Hill did not write this from a comfortable chair. He wrote it from the far side of his own ruin. Around 1918, his world came apart. Business gone, money gone. A stretch of his life so dark he later described wandering, uncertain, wondering whether everything he had worked toward had been an illusion. This was the man who would go on to write the best-selling success book in history. And at that moment, he had nothing and no evidence that he ever would. But the story most people do not know is closer to the bone than money. Hill's son Blair was born without ears, no visible ear structure at all, and doctors told Hill the boy would be deaf and mute for life. Imagine holding your child and being told the world had handed him an adversity with no benefit in sight, only loss. Hill refused the verdict. He decided, against the medical opinion, to plant the seed. Night after night, he poured belief into that child, told him relentlessly that he would hear, that his lack was not a curse but a reason he would develop something most people never do. And over years, through a combination of will, faith, and a bone conduction path no one expected, Blair Hill developed the ability to hear well enough to live a normal life, attend school, and later work at the company that made the hearing device his own case helped inspire. Hill said afterward that his son's deafness, the very thing that looked like pure loss, became one of the greatest assets of the boy's life, because it forced a depth of faith and character that ease never would have. The seed was real. It was inside the worst news a parent can hear, but someone had to refuse to throw it away and plant it instead. Stay with me, because I am about to give you the 3 things you actually do to find and plant the seed in your own season. And the second one is the step almost everyone skips, which is why their hardship stays a wound instead of becoming a root. Before the 3 steps, I have to name the trap, because if you fall into it, none of the steps will work. The trap is bitterness, and bitterness feels completely justified, which is exactly what makes it dangerous. Something unfair happened. You have every right to be angry. No one is arguing that. But Hill was blunt about what bitterness does to the seed. He said a mind occupied with resentment cannot receive the plans and ideas that turn adversity into advantage, because resentment fills the exact mental space where the benefit would grow. Think of it as the ground. The seed of benefit is planted in the soil of your mind. Bitterness is not neutral. It is a weed that grows fast, and it grows in the same soil, and it will choke the seed before it can root. This is why 2 people can go through the identical hardship and end up in completely different places. One planted the seed and tended it. The other let bitterness take the field. And 10 years later, they are still telling the same story of the thing that was done to them. Hill said something haunting in Outwitting the Devil. He said, the devil's favorite tool is not temptation, it is drifting. And a person marinating in bitterness has stopped steering their own life entirely and is simply being carried by an old injury. The hardship happened once. The bitterness reinflicts it every single day on the one person who did not deserve it twice, you. And notice the cruelty of it. Bitterness disguises itself as loyalty to the truth of what happened, as if letting it go would mean pretending it was okay. But it was never okay, and releasing it does not say otherwise. Releasing it says only this: I will not let the thing that hurt me once keep hurting me daily through my own hand. The person who wronged you has, in most cases, moved on with their life. Only you are still paying, every morning, the interest on a debt they stopped thinking about long ago. Bitterness is you volunteering to serve the sentence for their crime. So before you can plant the seed, you have to clear the weed. Not forgive because they earned it. Forgive, or at least release, because the soil is yours, and you need it clean to grow the thing that will make you larger than the wound. This is not weakness. It is agriculture. Now, the 3 steps. They are simple, and most people do none of them. Step 1. Name the exact loss precisely. Not everything went wrong. Specifically, what did this season take from you? Security, a relationship, a version of the future you were counting on, your health, your certainty. Write it down in plain words, the real thing, without softening it. Why start here, in the pain? Because Hill's seed is always the mirror image of the specific loss, and you cannot find the mirror image of a loss you have kept vague. Vague pain gives a vague benefit, which is to say none. Precise pain points directly at its precise seed. Watch how this works. If the loss was security, the seed is often a resourcefulness and courage you would never have built while comfortable. The discovery that you can survive the thing you were most afraid of, which makes you nearly unshakable afterward. If the loss was a relationship, the seed is often a clarity about who you are and what you actually need, bought at a price you would never have paid voluntarily, but which sets the whole rest of your life straighter. If the loss was a public failure, the seed is often the death of the fear of failing, because the worst has now happened and you are still here. And a person who no longer fears the fall can attempt things the fearful never will. The seed is specific to your loss. So name the loss exactly, and you have already turned toward the seed. This is the step that feels backward, leaning into the pain instead of away, and it is the one that makes the rest possible. Step 2, and this is the one almost everyone skips. Ask the seed question and demand an answer. The question is this: given this exact loss, what is now possible for me that was not possible before? Notice the shape of it. Not what did I lose? You already named that. Not why did this happen? That keeps you in the dirt. But what is now possible that was not possible before? Every real hardship opens a door at the same time it closes one. But the open door is quiet and the closed door is loud. So you have to go looking for the quiet one on purpose. The closed door slams. The open door just waits, in silence, to be noticed. And here is why people skip this step. It feels offensive at first. When you are in the pain, asking what good could come of this can feel like a betrayal of how much it hurt. So people refuse to ask, out of loyalty to their own suffering. But Hill would say that refusing to look for the seed does not honor your pain. It wastes it. The pain already happened. The only question left is whether it happened for nothing or whether you extract from it the one thing that makes it count. Asking the seed question is not disloyalty to your suffering. It is the only way to make sure the suffering was not in vain. So sit with the loss you named in step 1 and ask relentlessly, what is now possible that was not before? Do not accept nothing. Hill staked his life on the claim that there is always an answer, that the seed is always there. Keep asking until the quiet door shows itself. It will. It always does, for the person stubborn enough to keep looking. Step 3. Plant the seed. with a single action this week. A seed that is understood but never planted rots exactly like one that was thrown away. Insight is not enough. Hill's entire philosophy rejected passive understanding. He insisted that a benefit stays potential until it is acted upon. So once you have named the loss and found the possibility it opened, you take one concrete action this week that only became available because of the hardship. If the loss of security revealed courage, then do the bold thing you were too comfortable to do before. This week, small but real. If the failure killed your fear of failing, then attempt the thing you were once too afraid to try this week. If the ending gave you clarity about what you need, then build one piece of the straighter life the clarity revealed this week. The action is how the seed goes into the ground. Until then, it is just a thought. And thoughts, Hill warned, evaporate. And something happens the moment you take that first action. The season stops being something that happened to you and becomes something you are using. The center of gravity shifts from the past to the future, from what was taken to what you are building. That shift is the whole thing. It is the difference between a person defined by their worst season and a person forged by it. And it turns on a single deliberate act taken while the pain is still fresh enough to fuel it. Name the loss. Ask what it made possible. Plant it with one action this week. That is how you find the seed Hill promised is always there, and turn the worst thing that happened to you into a root instead of a wound. Here is what changes when you live this way. You stop fearing hard seasons the way you used to. Not because they stop hurting, they still hurt, but because you now know something about them that most people never learn. You know they come carrying seeds. You know the size of the seed matches the size of the loss, and you know how to find it and plant it before the season passes. That knowledge changes a person. The people who understand this are strangely unafraid, not because life is easy on them, but because they have learned to metabolize hardship into growth so reliably that loss has lost its final power over them. They grieve, and then they garden, and season after season, they become larger than the things that were supposed to bury them. Napoleon Hill lost his fortune, faced his son's diagnosis, and walked through a decade of darkness, and he came out holding a philosophy that has outlived him by nearly a century and changed millions of lives. He did not get that despite the hardships. He got it out of the seeds inside them. The same seeds are in yours. The only question is whether you will plant them or throw them away as dirt. So here is what I want you to do with your hardest season, and you can start today. Name the exact loss, in plain words, without softening it. Ask the question most people are too loyal to their pain to ask. What is now possible that was not possible before? And this week, take one single action that only became available because of what you went through. That is how you plant the seed. Do not let the season pass without doing this, because the seed does not wait forever. The fresh pain is the fuel, and once it fades into numb resignation, the seed is much harder to plant. So do it now, while it still hurts enough to move you. You made it to the end of this, which tells me you are not the kind who throws the season away. You are the kind who looks for the seed, so find yours. Everything I have described comes from Think and Grow Rich and Outwitting the Devil, both linked below. and there is a new lesson on this channel every single day.